Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your brother coming right back at you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the truth? Can you handle the truth? In this last days of human existence as we know it. Okay? And that's a mockery. That's why they call it the Z generation. They're telling you to your face that you are the last generation. Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't going to make any videos, but hey, here we go. And this is basically a continuation of an acting journey called life. Okay? When it comes to these two guards that were killed in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, what does the shooting of those two National Guards, one of them being a young lady who supposedly passed away. Ladies and gentlemen, I was in the armed forces of the United States. I was in the United States Marine Corps. In fact, I got my training in Powers Island back in 1985. So here we go. So I know. So this young lady was supposedly, because you cannot believe the government, because you got to understand one thing. Let's go back to history. In fact, I have a question. What does the Washington shootings of these two guards have in common with 9/11? Okay? And why, and the shooter, especially the shooter, with even before 9/11. Did you know that back in 1996, I believe it was, there was a bombing, an explosion in the basement of the World Trade Center. At that time, only was it 1993 or 1996? I don't have but the first bombing was in the basement. Only 6 people died. Did you know that the FBI was working with the guys that actually planted the dynamites? Did you also know that as of late you hear a lot about Al-Qaeda? Did you also know that the United States was the one that created Al-Qaeda? Okay? These are just questions that I'm throwing out there because I have covered this subjects in my previous videos. Among the more than 600 videos. Ladies and gentlemen, and that's why I always ask, are you ready for the truth? Can you handle the truth? Are you ready for me to show you how deep the rabbit hole goes? Have you taken the red pill? If that's the case, then here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know the history. We cannot deny it. We fell from grace, from our Creator's grace, whether you want to believe it or not, via sin, when we disobeyed His first order. And ever since then, humanity has run away with this diabolical and demonic knowledge, because that's all it was given. That's all humanity was given. There was no eating from a tree. There was no eating from an apple, taking a bite of an apple, and that this piece of that we have right here is so-called Adam's apple. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all lies. But remember, we live in a world of lies, because that's all we are. This whole world is a lie. So here we go. So what does the National Guard shooter, who is from Afghanistan, have in common with 9/11? Who was blamed for 9/11? Come on, who was blamed for 9/11? Who was blamed for 9/11? That was Osama bin Laden. But this is what you didn't know, and you can Google it. Timothy Osman. The United States created Al-Qaeda back in the 1980s. under the Carter administration. Just like Israel created Hamas. I'm telling you how it is. Okay? They have to create their own boogeyman to use it to justify their bloodthirsty fighting, which is a human sacrifice, innocent bloodshed for their God, who is Satan. Here we go. So, did you know that Osama bin Laden was a CIA agent? And that's public records, ladies and gentlemen. But yet America is so distracted, is so blind, is so worried about its economic situations that it doesn't look beyond its horizons. Because what is coming, what lies ahead for America is total destruction. But it's going to come surely, as I've been telling you for many, many years. Okay? You have to be a surgeon at this. And that's what the demons are doing. Okay? They're working the cities in the United States of America, New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Chicago, California. So they have to work these states to bring America down. In fact, you saw what they did to Detroit. Detroit is gone. It's totally gone. Okay, and soon it will be whatever is left of California. So many businesses closing down, and it's a shame. But anyway, I digress. Here we go. So the fact of the matter is that this is a theater. Again, this is an acting thing brought to you by your CIA. The CIA, the same one who killed John F. Kennedy. Okay? President of the United States back in 1960, back in the 1960s, 69, 68. Ladies and gentlemen, those two victims were sacrificed. And you say, what do you mean sacrifice, Ruben? Well, take a look at the young man, Afghan, I don't know his name, I will kill his name, the Afghan shooter that shot those two guards. And I knew even before this thing came on the news. Because remember, I've been telling you all this. Okay? He used to work for the CIA. He used to work with the, and they came out and said it. Okay? They came out and said it right away. In the past, they used to hide those things. Okay? For instance, look what they did with Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, they just came right out and say, hey, you know, he was the one that did this. We don't have any evidence. Up to today, the FBI has in charge Osama bin Laden, or hasn't accused him of anything, because they don't have evidence. How can they, when he was a CIA agent? And you may say, well, that's crazy, Ruben. That's tinfoil conspiracy theory. Yeah, using that word that the CIA came up with back in the 1960s. Conspiracy theories. Okay. Then, riddle me this. What are the chances that the Afghan shooter that shot those two National Guards and Osama bin Laden were both working for the CIA? And the CIA tried to bring the World Trade Center. They were testing the waters back then, back in 1996 on the first World Trade Center bombing. So ladies and gentlemen, don't you see, everything is an act. It's a means to an end. And that's what, for instance, I'm not going to talk about that, but that's what the moon landing was about. Nothing, no one can land on the moon, for it is a plasma. It was created for that purpose, to give out light in the night. That's what the Creator created the moon for. Okay, and to give as a signs of days and seasons. Okay, the sun and the moon. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, do you know, don't you see what is happening here? Haven't I been telling you this, that Joe Biden was the problem child, and here comes Donald Trump, good old boy good old boy Donnie Trump, here comes to save the day, to be as a savior. Now he just what? You heard the latest that he said? He's going to end any permit to come to the United States. No immigration from third world nations. And those that are in here, he's going to deport. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Don't you see the writing on the wall for America? America is in deep problem, and it doesn't see it yet. It's like a blind man going towards the train tracks, and he's about to get hit and killed by the train tracks. He hears the sounds because he's not deaf, but he cannot distinguish as to where the sound is coming from. So he keeps going, and then the train comes, crash into this blind man and killed him. And that's exactly what is happening to America. And those who think that sees what's coming, because they plan these things, ladies and gentlemen, they think they're going to be safe with their God, whom they call, using the heavenly name, Lucifer. Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, and the same thing with the Thanksgiving. I'm going to show you how deep the lies go. The lies are everywhere. In your traditions, in your so-called holidays. See, I work for the government. I mean, you know what? And I take it. Hey, I take it. I don't celebrate it. In fact, on that day, on Thanksgiving, which was yesterday, I fasted. That's what I do. Because he was based upon a what? On innocent bloodshed. 700 Indians were bitten to death and killed. I'm going to send you the links for that. Okay, so look out for the links. See, what I send to you, ladies and gentlemen, you see, I don't charge you anything. I don't ask for anything. I just want you to be aware and be, in fact, anyway, I'll read it later. I'm going to show you what America is. America is the second beast. Well, it's not up for debate. It's not debatable. That is the reality. Okay? All right, so I'm sorry for the two guards that were killed. I mean, one of them is in critical condition. The young lady passed away. Don't you see what is happening here? If not, let me give you Let me give you a little hint as to what's happening here. Do you see what is happening in the country of the 10 horns mentioned in the Bible, which I will read to you about right now? I read it in the past, okay? You see what is happening there? You see what is happening in Illinois, Utah. They talking about what? Digital ID. See how the government works? Haven't I been telling you this for many, many years? Using the Hegelian dialectic, the oldest trick in the book. You created problems. That's like almost child's play. You created problems. You watch for people's reactions, and then you come up with a solution. Problem, reaction, solution. Okay? So Biden created the problem. People are screaming about and creating all kinds of mayhem in American society by design. Then here comes Donald Trump with the solution. You see how it works? And that's exactly what this thing is going to be used for. They want to bring digital ID to the United States as a whole. Because being that the United States is the second beast, being used by the devil, by Satan, and then once it won't have any use for it, it will destroy. In fact, it is prophesied. Let us go into the book of chapter 13. Okay, Revelation chapter 13. Look what it says. Revelation chapter 13. Starting on verse 11. Whoa, this is not it. Hold on, because I got Bibles in many different languages here. So hold on. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now, what those two horns represent? It represents political power. You got Republicans and you got Democrats. 12, verse 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now you may say, well, what wound? Well, the one that Napoleon Bonaparte brought on the Roman Catholic Church, who is the first beast. And then who was coming out of the earth? America. And then when was the wound done to this beast? Okay, in 1798. Okay, now let us go to chapter 17, Revelation chapter 17, and look what it says. Okay, Revelation chapter 17 and verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. 3. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. 14. They shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and Kings of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. 15. And he said unto me, the water which thou sawest, where the whole sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Ladies and gentlemen, you see what is happening there? So the 10 horns, which are the original 10 nations, European nations. Of course, now there's 27 of them, but originally it was 10. Those are the 10 horns, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, let me give you some example. England, Germany, France, Scandinavia, Italy, and so on. Okay. Australia. So, ladies and gentlemen, please. That's what is coming for this world. But before that, America has to be, by this time, America will be out of the way. And America is slowly but surely walking into the lion's den. It has set up its own trap, and it will burn. Okay? So once again, this is what I come here for, to hopefully wake you up. If not by my words, but the links that I will share with you. Because they give you the knowledge, they give you all of that, but I come to you and give you the what? And give you the what? The spiritual and biblical meaning and text. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you can handle the truth, then you should have no problem, because that means that you are obeying these 10 commandments. Because don't tell me that you don't know that we live in an upside down world where anything goes now. Man can marry man, woman can marry woman, anything goes. And those things have been pushed by religion, by the Roman Catholic Church, who is the first beast. Do you see this struggle between Christians and the Islamic faith? Ladies and gentlemen, don't you see? They were set up by the first beast. That's why the first beast created the Islamic faith through Muhammad. Okay? They recruited Muhammad. Okay? I mean, its very methodology came out of the Persian Empire. And there was an evolution in the Islamic faith. Okay? But once you let yourself led by man-made religion, you are doomed. And if you don't believe me, look at the Islamic nations around the world. Okay? Look at Africa in the condition that it's in. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when you worship Allah, you are actually worshiping, whether you know it or not, a demonic entity. Okay? If not, where's the beef? How come all of Africa wants to come out? All India wants to go to England, or all India wants to come to the United States? If their faith, if the Islamic faith is so good to them, how come they all want to come here? Okay? Think about that for a minute. But you know what? We don't. Because once religion brainwashes, Once religion robs our mind, it is done. And that is exactly, isn't that what the devil did to our first parents? And that's what all this religious conception came from. All the religious concepts came out of the mind of the spiritual demons, the fallen angels, to control humanity and to deceive them. So, I'm going to show you once again that everything is a lie. In fact, I'm going to show you the link of a man who, he would like to know the truth, but he doesn't know, for instance, why Donald Trump always makes this sign, and his son made this sign, and his own wife told him, "Hey, stop it. Don't make it too obvious." Ladies and gentlemen, please. We live in a world that worship the devil, whether he knows it or not, in many different levels, exponentially, through religions, political, rituals, you name it. Okay? Through a human history, man have always done human sacrifice to appease the demons, so they can get favors and riches from the fallen angels. You understand? Wake the hell up before it's too late, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a storm coming. And if you don't see it, then you are going to be taken away by the storm. Please. I don't come here because, I like doing this. I mean, I like doing this, but I don't do it for the heck of it. I do it because this is a matter of life and death. Do you want to live a temporary existence and then just die? Okay? Life is a school. Life is a journey. And God gave it to you. What have you done with your life? Sure, we all make mistakes. I have. The secret is learning from them and growing from them, evolving from them, and not getting stuck on stupid, stuck on sins. And we will always sin. We will always fall. But God is there to lift us up again. Okay, so now you understand. So what I want to talk to you is about digital ID, which is coming. I want to show you how America is being set up. I want to show you that America, like all politicians, like all presidents in the United States, have to pledge allegiance to the people that actually control the United States. Okay? It's only an illusion. That's all it is. Your political system, your voting system is only an illusion. Because you have been introduced to an alternate reality, to the satanic reality, which is composed of deceit and lies. Are you ready to be unplugged from the system? Or are you just going to keep on believing in the system that is more than obvious lying to you? Do you see why the governments around the world support the LGBTQ plus community? The homosexual, lesbian, transgender community? Because it serves their purpose. They die young, and also it helps for human depopulation of the earth. Okay? and they serve their master, the demons, whom they worship in the dark through human sacrifice. Okay? So, I'm going to show you that about the digital ID. I'm going to show you more lies, and including the what? The fake and the lies behind the Thanksgiving, which you most likely still celebrating, being that today is Black Friday. See how they keep you distracted? They have to keep you distracted, because what is coming is no laughing matter, ladies and gentlemen. They are setting up America. Okay? Establish a strong relationship with your Creator, with no religion in the way. Please do not confuse me once again with the crazy Israelites on the streets, because they have a preach of hate. I preach of love towards all mankind. We are all God's creation. Okay? And so we cannot deny our lineage in terms of behavior and physical attributes and a way of thinking. We cannot deny it. I mean, look what the Pilgrims did to the Native American Indians who are from the tribe of Israel, the tribe of God, G-A-D. Okay? Look what they did. Now, look what's been happening in Ukraine. Look what's been happening with the abortion situation. Look what happened in Vietnam. Look what happened in Iraq, in the Korean War, in the Second World War. You understand? Are you beginning to see the whole picture now? The United States have been there, and they have instigated with false flag. And every time they want something, they want to bring something to America, they gotta bring the false flag. Never fails. Okay? Please do not forget the links that I will send you. May God bless you. Love you all. Take care.